Hello, I'm Liz, one of Dairy's reference librarians, and welcome to another episode of Misinformation Busters. Once a week, we tackle a rumor or a false or misunderstood story, and we try to separate fact from fiction. This week, we're talking about foods, superfoods. So, what's the story? Well, around 2013 to 2014, the big food craze was superfoods. Foods like kale, goji berries, chia seeds, acai berries, pomegranates, and even blueberries were touted as having unique nutritional qualities that could prevent cancer or ease the aging process. These foods were touted by people like Dr. Oz, for example. And the buzz was that if you ate these foods, you would be healthier. They almost sounded like miracle cures. So, what are the facts? So here's some good news up front. Foods like kale, berries, avocado, salmon, these are all foods that are good for you. But what they aren't are cures or super. They're just nutritious food. So go ahead and eat them. In the sites that I looked at, including the Mayo Clinic, the American Heart Association, Johns Hopkins, these foods are all recommended as part of a balanced diet. But that's the key, balance. You're not going to be healthier if you just eat chia seeds, kale, and goji berries. This passage is from the Harvard School of Public Health. Quote, "A downside of superfoods is that the title alone may cause people to focus on specific foods, blinding them to other equally nutritious options that aren't as hyped. Variety in our diet is important not only to gain the benefit of eating a wide variety of essential vitamins and minerals, but to prevent one from eating too much or too little of a particular nutrient." And this is what brings us to why this is an episode. Superfood? It's not a nutritional term, but a marketing term. And this actually goes back a little earlier than we think. In an article for The Guardian, writer Amy Fleming talks about seeing a book in the 1990s called Superfoods, and that was written by naturopath Michael Van Straten and has actually since been republished. So, concept's been around for a while. And you might ask, what's the harm in marketing healthy food? Well, nothing technically, but the issue is how it is marketed, such as the idea that a single food can decrease the risk of cancer, when whether or not one gets cancer is far more complicated than just eating food. There's factors like genetic risk or environmental factors, or marketing that says these foods can help you lose weight. Scott Gavura of Science-Based Medicine looked at an episode of Dr. Oz's show where Dr. Oz made claims about superfoods. And while Gavura took no fault with some of the claims, such as beans being high in fiber and protein, he pointed out that some of the claims, such as pine nuts suppressing hunger or decreasing food intake by 36%, they weren't scientifically supported. And Gavura also pointed out that pine nuts are calorie-rich, so while they aren't really bad for you, if you eat too much in hopes of suppressing hunger, that could actually lead to weight gain. There's another layer to this as well, namely how these foods become super in the first place. In many cases, industries will actually sponsor research into their own food. Marian Nestle, a professor of nutrition, food studies, and public health, wrote about this in her book Unsavory Truth, published in 2018. A quote from her chapter, Research on Healthy Foods, page 76. Quote, "In their largely unprocessed forms, foods from the earth, trees, or animals are healthful by definition. So why, you might ask, would the producers of foods such as cranberries, pears, avocados, or walnuts fund research aimed at proving that these particular foods, rather than fruits, vegetables, or nuts in general, have special health benefits?" Marketing, of course. Every food producer wants to expand sales. Health claims sell. And that isn't new either. That Harvard Health blog that I quoted earlier, it brought up a publication called The Food Value of a Banana. That was published in 1917 by United Fruit Company. And there wasn't really much wrong with it per se, but it was a marketing rather than a nutritional publication. And it actually became more popular when some medical professionals started to promote bananas as a healthy food, including saying that it could treat celiac disease, which we now know is false. So, what do we do at the end of the day? The best advice would be to follow nutritionists and physicians who say mostly ignore the superfood label and just eat plenty of colorful foods like fruits and veggies. And the miracle claims for food, take that with a grain of salt. Thank you for watching, and as always, check for sources in the comments and feel free to research using our EBSCO databases available through the library website, or when in doubt, ask a librarian. And I'll see you next week.